Coyote vs. Acme could be saved. Pixar's Elio delayed. Avatar new series announced. Inside Out 2 dethroned. All this in this week's Cartoon News Roundup. I feel like I'm getting whiplash. Coyote vs. Acme, the film long considered dead by many industry insiders, a casualty of the
Warner Animation decimation,
might have one final chance at release, according to one of the film's loony stars, Eric Bauza. Based on a humour article published by Ian Frazier in The New Yorker in 1990, Coyote vs. Acme was set to follow the fan favourite Looney Tune launching legal action against the Acme Corporation. It was set to star Will Forte as Coyote's billboard lawyer, John Cena as the evil head of the Acme Corporation, and Lana Condor in an undisclosed role. At this week's Writers Guild of America Awards, Screen Rant spoke with Bauza on the red carpet, celebrating the upcoming Looney Tunes movie The Day the Earth Blew Up, asking him point blank if he thinks Coyote vs. Acme will ever see the light of day. Bauza replied, "That is the question of the year, and it's only February. I'm going to say yes. If this movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, opening March 14th in theatres everywhere, gets a lot of money, then we might see Coyote vs. Acme. Stranger things have happened. And if we don't, I'm going to put that movie under everyone's seats as a DVD. No, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding, David Zaslav. You didn't see that here." Of course, this is something that fans have been hoping for. A bona fide success of Day the Earth Blew Up will almost certainly turn heads at Warner Brothers, and you bet they'll be watching the numbers on this one. That said, Day the Earth Blew Up has a lot of heavy lifting to do. Space Jam: A New Legacy managed to scrape in nearly $164 million at the box office, though on a $150 million budget was deemed a failure. It's very unlikely that Day the Earth Blew Up makes anything in this league, let alone more than this, considering it is a much lower profile film that isn't getting a whole lot of widespread stateside promo from North American distributor Ketchup Entertainment. Outside of the Looney Tunes fan base, I'm guessing much of the general public haven't even heard of this one. Screen Rant notes that current projections show the movie only making $18 million domestically, and the movie needs to make at least $37 million globally to turn a profit on its lean $15 million budget. To help Day the Earth Blew Up succeed and open any possible potential of ever seeing Coyote vs. Acme, make sure to support Day the Earth Blew Up in theatres, and tell all of your family and friends to do the same. There is no waiting around for streaming for this one. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is all very important. It seems the last few years that the cinema landscape is constantly facing shifting changes and delays. Only a week or so after the upcoming Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, was strangely delayed by a couple of weeks, Disney has announced that Pixar's upcoming original animation Elio will also be facing a delay. If it feels like this movie has been coming for ages, that's because it has. We've actually had 2 teaser trailers for the film, which is almost unheard of. We got our first in June 2023 and our second in November 2024, and we still don't even have a full-length theatrical trailer. Elio has had a bit of a rough run so far, as this marks its second delay. Originally set for a release of March 1, 2024, it was later delayed to June 13, 2025, in large part thanks to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA Hollywood strikes. This resulted in a number of changes to the film, including rewrites and cast changes, extending its already lengthy production period. Now, Disney has delayed the film once again, but thankfully only by 1 week, from June 13 to June 20, 2025. Don't worry, the film isn't in any danger. Pixar aren't buying themselves more time this round. The change has been made simply to avoid direct competition with Universal and DreamWorks' live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon, which is also set to open on June 13. It's possible Disney is aware of the huge demand for Dragon and don't believe Elio will hold its own against it. And in today's landscape, an original film is almost always going to be crushed against IP fare, even with the behemoth of Disney Pixar behind it. So from Disney, this is actually a very smart move, something we can't say they've made a lot of over the last few years. They clearly want the movie to succeed, and giving it just a little extra breathing room might be exactly what it needs. With the film only a few months off, it's likely we'll have our theatrical trailer for Elio very soon. Not only a year after it took the crown of highest grossing animated film of all time, Pixar's Inside Out 2 has been dethroned by perhaps the unlikeliest of candidates. Ne Zha 2 is a Chinese animated fantasy adventure film and the sequel to 2019's critically and commercially acclaimed Ne Zha, opening in Chinese theaters on January 29th and in US theaters on February 14th. The movie has already blitzed past $1.69 billion at the global box office, a record set only last July by Inside Out 2. Crossing this record also makes Ne Zha 2 the first non-American animated film to take the title. As it continues its trailblazing run at the global box office, the movie is set to swiftly pass $2 billion, making it the first animated film in history to cross the milestone. Its historic run has also already made Ne Zha 2 the highest grossing Chinese film of all time and the highest grossing non-English language film of all time. It's also the first non-English language film to reach $1 billion at the box office. Naturally, it's also currently the 8th highest grossing film of all time and is already the highest grossing film of 2025, a record which will likely go unbeaten unless James Cameron manages to strike lightning again with Avatar: Fire and Ash later in the year. Obviously, China is a gigantic box office market, and it's truly incredible to see Chinese audiences turning out in full force for a local production, and an animated one at that. I think overall, this is going to be a pretty hard one for any studio to beat for some time. Disney might have some potential with Zootopia 2 later this year, but next to that, their next opportunity could certainly be Frozen 3 in 2027. Ne Zha 2 follows the adventures of Ne Zha, a young boy born with unique powers who is recruited as a demon slayer. While it somehow only logged a single critic review on Rotten Tomatoes, it's managed to rake in a near impossible 99% audience score from over 1,000 reviews. That single critic review, by the way, is of course very positive. The movie is currently playing in theaters globally, so why not check it out? Nickelodeon have officially announced a new series from the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of the first major animated projects to come from their Avatar Studios initiative. Avatar: Seven Havens has officially received the green light from the animation studio with a 26-episode order. The series, which comes from the original creators, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, will follow a new Avatar and will be split into 2 parts, or books, of 13 episodes each. Seven Havens marks the franchise's 3rd animated series, following the original Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, and is set to follow a new Avatar. A revealed synopsis tells us that the series is set in a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm. A young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era, the title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Hunted by both human and spirit elements, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens before civilization's last strongholds collapse. President of Paramount Animation and Nickelodeon Animation, Ramsey Naito, said in a press release from the studio, "For 2 decades, the richly crafted world of Avatar: The Last Airbender has introduced audiences to a world of compelling characters and groundbreaking storylines, captivating fans globally. We can't wait to embark on the next chapter of the epic saga with a new story set within the Avatarverse, envisioned by the original creators Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko." While in a joint statement, DiMartino and Konietzko said, "When we created the original series, we never imagined we'd still be expanding the world decades later. This new incarnation of the Avatarverse is full of fantasy, mystery, and a whole new cast of amazing characters. Get ready to take another epic and emotional adventure." While this announcement comes in celebration of the franchise's 20th anniversary, a premiere date has not yet been announced. However, it looks like we'll be spoiled for choice, with Avatar Studios rolling out more Avatar content than ever over the coming years. 3 animated films are in the works, with one set to land in 2026, while 2 new YouTube series are set to debut on the Avatar The Last Airbender channel. The 10-episode Avatar Chibi Minis, featuring 2D animated chibi-style stories based on classic scenes from The Last Airbender and humorous spin-off comics, and the 7-episode Untitled Avatar gameplay series, which will see the upcoming Avatar Legends Battleground game on Roblox become a short-form series using the game's engine, including reenactments of action scenes from The Last Airbender. Also, the award-winning Avatar Braving the Elements podcast will also return for its 4th season on the newly launched Avatar Legends YouTube channel, which will focus on The Legend of Korra. Netflix's live-action series, on the other hand, will run for a further 2 seasons, though the original creators aren't involved. Thanks for joining me for another Cartoon News Roundup. What stories were you most excited to hear this week, and what are you hoping to hear in the upcoming news? As always, join the conversation down below.